capturing the light and the darkness. A camera designed to realize creative dreams and bring a world of color and vibrancy to life. Creating visions for the future. We believe that a high-performance lens is essential to the pursuit of unprecedented image quality for filmmakers and photographers. To enjoy a greater freedom for lens design, we have developed the 54mm large diameter mount inherited from the EF mount. From large aperture lenses that provide sharp images to f2 zoom lenses that offer beautiful bokeh, we've realized lenses that could not be achieved with previous lens mounts. To make these lenses possible, we've created a new camera system that enables maximum optical performance, the EOS R System. At the core of this breakthrough in optical design is the large 54mm diameter mount, augmented by a short back focus through the use of mirrorless technology. Yet high image quality is only one of our goals. Ease of use takes precedence over design, and we are constantly seeking to enhance usability. Users will be able to keep their eye on the viewfinder and their focus on their subject, thanks to intuitive dial placement and new features, including a control ring made possible by the introduction of the new RF mount communication system. While the EOS R System is compatible with our extensive EF and EFS lens lineup via a choice of adapters, it's an innovative optical system that sets a new standard and opens up exciting possibilities to those seeking to capture their creative visions.
Since the dawn of time, humanity has lived within the cycle of day and night. In the darkness of night, we search for light. And in the light, the dreams of our future become clearer. Darkness allows us to imagine, while light transforms our imagination into reality. It is this repetition that has moved humanity forward. But is there more to the world than what we can see? Reimagine the world we live in. Each tomorrow brings new possibilities to capture the beauty of our world more fully. EOS R System, a new imaging system that expands the horizons of lens technology. Delivering today the imaging systems of tomorrow. We are Canon.
Hi, I'm Rudy Winston from Canon USA, and in the next few minutes I want to introduce you to an entirely new full-frame mirrorless camera system. It's the Canon EOS R System, a breakthrough in optical possibilities and technologies, but one that offers excellent compatibility with the Canon EOS gear you may own and use every day. This is the first in a series of tutorial videos to introduce this camera and its new lenses and explain its operation and the possibilities it offers. Some of the topics we'll explore in depth include the lens mount and the new RF series lenses we'll be introducing with the camera, compatibility with EOS lenses and accessories, a look at the EOS R camera, a separate video to explain its operation and ways you can use its features, and more detailed videos to introduce you to some of the innovative controls it offers and its terrific electronic viewfinder. I want to be very clear right from the start. We kept the name EOS for a reason. EOS R is an addition to the Canon EOS system, not a replacement. From the camera's menu system to its backward compatibility, you'll see that this new system is one you can add to your camera bag, along with the Canon gear many of you currently own. So while the EOS R system in many ways is a break from tradition, it does not replace any cameras or lenses currently in the Canon EOS lineup. In fact, it will give you new ways to push the limits of current Canon EF and EFS lenses. The compatibility I mentioned is huge, big enough that we'll have an entire episode in this video series on it. It's highlighted by not one, but 3 lens mount adapters, each allowing you to attach and use Canon EF, EFS, tilt shift, and macro lenses, including tele-extenders. And to do so without many of the restrictions photographers have come to expect with lens adapters. All Canon EX series speed lights and many current accessories will work with this system. And the EOS R camera even uses the same battery as popular EOS models like the EOS 5D series, 7D series, and EOS 80D. But maybe more important is why a new camera system? The answers lie beyond simply a smaller, lighter weight alternative to traditional digital SLRs. Optics are the true cornerstone of this system, and the new Canon RF lens mount takes full optical advantage of this. The rear elements on Canon EOS RF lenses are much closer to the image sensor, and combined with one of the largest diameter lens mounts in the industry, the rear elements of lenses can be larger in diameter than on conventional DSLRs. Both can significantly enhance potential image quality. Light rays can be bent inside the lens more smoothly, which is especially beneficial for image quality at the outer edges of the frame. And these changes allow for even more freedom in where our engineers go from here in developing a new, dedicated series of lenses for the EOS R system. Another point in this new system is that it's ready for expansion. The new RF lens mount has 12 electronic contacts, compared to 8 on Canon's EF mount for DSLRs. Data transfer between the body and the new Canon RF lenses is totally updated and is now significantly faster than is possible with our DSLRs. Much more data is communicated between a Canon RF lens and the camera, opening up possibilities for enhancements in current features like AF and image stabilization, and opening the door for technologies we haven't even seen yet. We'll certainly examine the first camera in this new system, the EOS R. It's a solid camera in a compact form factor with a full-frame 30.3 million pixel CMOS imaging sensor. Among its highlights are dual-pixel CMOS AF with over 5,600 selectable AF point locations, 4K video recording at up to 30p with Canon log and 10-bit 422 HDMI output to external recorders, a beautiful electronic viewfinder with the highest eye point ever in a Canon EOS eye-level finder, and an innovative new control interface. And it adds features like a totally silent shutter option and Eye Detect AF for sharpest focus right on a subject's eyes. We'll explore all of this throughout this tutorial video series, not simply to introduce the EOS R, but to give you insights into some of the ways you can actually use the new features it puts in your hands. Join me and my colleague Brent Ramsey as we guide you through this new camera system and its possibilities. Welcome to the dawn of a new era of EOS with the EOS R series. Hi, I'm Rudy Winston with Canon USA. In this episode, we'll take a look at one of the most comforting aspects of the Canon EOS R system, its compatibility with existing Canon EOS lenses and accessories. Because even though the EOS R camera is a completely new model with a new lens mount, you can use every EF, EFS, and most special purpose lenses in the Canon EF system with the addition of a Canon lens mount adapter. There are actually 3 adapters, giving you unprecedented, innovative options, and we'll look at each in this episode. What about speedlights? All EX series Canon speedlights, including the macro light units, are totally compatible with the full-frame mirrorless camera. It uses the same ETTL2 flash metering as recent EOS digital SLRs. That goes for the radio and optical-based wireless flash operation, including speedlight transmitters, as well. And the EOS R has the same flash control menu as the latest EOS DSLRs. The battery for the EOS R camera is the same Canon LP-E6N or LP-E6 battery that's used in cameras like the EOS 7D and 5D series. So batteries and chargers many Canon owners use today will continue to work with Canon's first full-frame mirrorless camera. We'll touch on other compatible accessories later in this episode, but the main thing we want to cover is lens compatibility between the EOS digital SLR lenses and accessories you may own today and the new EOS R system. First, to repeat the basics. The new full-frame mirrorless EOS R introduces a totally new Canon RF lens mount, optimized for its mirrorless structure. Along with the new camera, we're introducing the first 4 Canon RF series lenses designed for this camera. The RF series lenses cannot be mounted onto current EOS digital SLRs, and Canon makes no adapter at the present time that allows this. However, existing Canon EF, EFS, TSE, and MPE lenses for EOS digital SLRs can definitely be mounted on the full-frame mirrorless EOS R camera using a Canon mount adapter EF to EOS R. This includes accessories like EF teleextenders and EF extension tubes for close-up shooting. About the only lenses that cannot be attached to the new EOS R camera with Canon mount adapters are the Canon EF-M lenses for Canon's compact mirrorless cameras and the CNE or Cinema EOS lenses. There are 3 new Canon lens mount adapters to attach Canon digital SLR lenses onto the mirrorless EOS R series cameras. Let's clear up any doubts right up front. I'm sure many of you have lingering reservations about the feasibility of lens mount adapters. You may have heard reports of erratic operation, loss of some features and functionality, slower focus or shooting speeds, and more. That's not going to be the case here. With Canon's system of mount adapters for the EOS R system, there are only 2 limitations. But that's it. Otherwise, things like AF speed, infinity focus, image stabilization, and so on work the same as they do when the lens is attached to a modern EOS digital SLR. There's no light loss, and the lens's wide or telephoto coverage remains the same as well. Unlike some competitive systems, you're not limited to one adapter model for certain EF or EFS lenses. The Canon mount adapters have no optics in them, and there's no AF mechanism in any of the adapters. So why 3 different lens mount adapters? Choice. You have the option to add new functions when you attach a Canon EF lens. Here's a look at the 3 lens mount adapter choices. Option 1, the Canon mount adapter EF to EOS R. This is a basic mount adapter, and once again will work with every compatible lens type we've mentioned. This adapter is an optional accessory, but in some regions it'll be possible to buy the new EOS R camera body with the basic adapter included as a kit. Option 2, the Canon control ring adapter EF to EOS R. Each of the Canon RF series lenses now adds a separate programmable control ring on the lens for instant exposure adjustment. This lens mount adapter adds the same control ring and its functionality to any EF lens you attach. Turn the adapter's click-stopped control ring and immediately change exposure settings or apply exposure compensation. It's programmed in the EOS R camera's custom functions menu. And if you're a serious video user, for a service fee, the click stops can be removed at a Canon service center. Option 3, the Canon drop-in filter mount adapter EF to EOS R. This one lets you insert Canon drop-in filters. It'll be sold in 2 versions, with drop-in circular polarizer filter A and with drop-in variable neutral density filter A. So you can add either variable neutral density effects or circular polarizer effects to any EF or EFS lens. Or with a clear glass drop-in filter, you can shoot without filtration effects. Think about the possibilities. For the first time, you can easily add circular polarization to lenses like the EF 11 to 24mm L-series lens or the EF 8 to 15mm fisheye zoom lens, lenses which normally cannot accept a conventional filter. You can apply variable ND filtration to any EF or EFS lens to allow slower shutter speeds for smooth video recording in daylight or for deliberate blurs in still images in bright sunlight. 3 drop-in filters are available for this lens mount adapter. A clear glass filter, which should always be used if neither of the special purpose filters is installed. The circular polarizer, which can be freely rotated to achieve the visual impact you want. And the variable neutral density filter, which you can rotate to provide a broad range of light reduction. Canon's EFS lenses are a series of lenses designed exclusively for DSLRs with the smaller APS-C size image sensor. Until now, you couldn't mount EFS lenses on full-frame EOS digital SLRs. But with any of the lens mount adapters we just discussed, when you attach an EFS lens to the EOS R camera, it immediately detects that it's an EFS lens and automatically crops the full-frame sensor to give you the same 1.6 times crop factor that the lens was designed to support. Simply stated, the EOS R system makes any EFS lens you may currently own a viable option. As we said before, the EOS R camera is an addition to the Canon EOS system, not a replacement. And the compatibility it offers for Canon's EF lens line means that with any of these lens mount adapters, it's a smooth addition to the Canon gear many of you may own today. Finally, the EOS R camera uses single-pin remote control accessories, like the Canon Remote Switch RS60E3. For the more advanced 3-pin N3 type remote controllers, there's an optional remote controller adapter, RAE3. GPS information and log recording is possible with the optional Canon GP-E2 receiver as well. This designed-in compatibility means you can add full-frame mirrorless to your system by investing in nothing more than a camera body and a Canon lens mount adapter EF to EOS R, and from there, add dedicated Canon RF lenses as you like. We've discussed the new mirrorless system, and in our next episode, we'll take a closer look at the first camera in this system, the EOS R. At the heart of the Canon EOS R mirrorless system is optics. Since shortly after World War II, Canon has been an important world player in optical development for interchangeable lens cameras, and it's important to understand that this, not simply a more compact camera, is the driving force behind the new EOS R system. The EOS R series takes this to new levels and opens the door to incredible lens and image quality possibilities in the future. But the great news is that it remains fully compatible with current Canon EF, EFS, tilt shift, and macro lenses. Any discussion of the Canon EOS R series has to begin with the RF lens mount. This is a new lens mount dedicated to the EOS R full-frame mirrorless system. From the outset, let's be clear. Only RF mount lenses can be directly attached to the new mirrorless cameras. All existing compatible Canon lenses for digital SLRs will require an optional mount adapter. In a few moments, we'll discuss why this new lens mount and its architecture are such an important part of the EOS R system. But first, let's talk about the 4 RF mount lenses that will debut with the EOS R camera system. These are entirely new designs, leveraging the advantages of the camera's mirrorless structure. Each has much more extensive and faster data communication with the camera, and each has the new programmable RF series control ring, in addition to a manual focus ring and zoom ring on the zoom lenses. Let's take a quick look at each lens. The RF 24 to 105mm f4L IS USM. The 24 to 105mm f4L IS USM lens is the first standard zoom in the RF lens system. As with each of the RF lenses, it's a totally new lens design, optimized for the new mirrorless system. It's slightly smaller than its EF mount sibling, and its image quality will be improved. The f4 maximum aperture is constant through the zoom range. Most notably, this is the first L-series lens with Canon's innovative nano ultrasonic focus motor. Nano USM means this lens's focus is fast, virtually silent, but in particular, it has focus smoothness ideally suited for video recording. This is not simply a kit lens, and we expect it to be a workhorse for many of our serious customers who invest in the EOS R system. The RF 28 to 70mm f2L USM. Here is the flagship lens in the first wave of optics for the EOS R system. You heard that correctly. This is Canon's first constant aperture f2 zoom lens. The priority here was superb specifications with that f2 maximum aperture and the best image quality possible. Listen to this carefully. The result is a lens so good, we expect some to consider it a variable fixed focal length lens, not just a wide to tele zoom. Canon's lens engineers anticipate this lens will offer unprecedented optical quality, matching the sharpness and contrast of many pro-level fixed focal length lenses. While it's certainly large for a lens of its type, understand that the RF mount architecture makes it possible. Had our engineers tried to design a comparable f2 zoom lens for DSLRs with the EF mount, the result would have been a far larger and heavier lens. As we'll explain in a moment, the wide diameter RF mount and mirrorless structure allow designers to use larger lens elements toward the rear of the lens and reduce the size of optics toward the front section. It goes without saying that this lens will be a fixture with quality-conscious Canon photographers in fields ranging from landscape to commercial studio photography. Anywhere a superb quality 28mm, 35mm, 50mm, or 70mm lens with an f2 aperture would fit, we expect to see critical users working with the RF 28 to 70mm f2L lens. The RF 35mm f1.8 macro IS STM. Small, lightweight lenses are one of the design paths our engineers can take with the new wide-diameter mirrorless RF lens system. And the 35mm moderate wide-angle lens has historically been a go-to focal length to combine with a more compact camera for candid street shooting, available light work indoors, and even photojournalism. The 35mm f1.8 macro IS STM fits this description well and goes beyond by offering macro close focusing capability down to half life-size magnification. At its closest focus distance of just over 6 inches, you can fill the frame with a subject the size of a business card. The wide f1.8 maximum aperture makes it great for available light shooting, and that's backed up by an image stabilization system with up to 5 stops of shake correction. Let's put that into perspective. For still image shooting in low light, if the slowest safe shutter speed you felt comfortable using without IS was 1/60th of a second, A 5-stop correction means you'd get the same stable images at speeds as slow as 1/2 second with stationary subjects. That same IS system works beautifully for video recording as well, and the STM focus system means that AF during video is smooth and virtually silent. The RF 50mm f1.2L USM. This lens shows another direction that the new mirrorless RF mount allows our optical designers to take. Instead of going for the smallest possible design, the RF 50mm f1.2L USM combines an extremely wide maximum aperture with rock-solid image quality and directly targets professional photographers and critical enthusiasts. Once again, this is a totally new optical design with 15 lens elements, taking full advantage of the new possibilities of the RF lens mount and putting optical performance superior to the current EF 50mm f1.2 lens in the photographer's hands. This new 50mm lens is a powerful statement of the image quality you can get with the Canon EOS R system. With its combination of terrific low-light shooting capability, beautiful background blurring, and sharpness, we expect it to be well received by photographers in fields such as portrait, fashion, events, and weddings. No discussion of the optical power of the Canon EOS R system is complete without a look at why this new lens mount is such an important element in raising the performance bar. The keys are that the new RF mount has a wide diameter, the same 54mm inner diameter as the EF mount, and that it's positioned much closer to the imaging sensor. The rear reference point on the lens mount is now 20mm from the image sensor plane, which is less than half the distance from the mount to sensor in an EOS digital SLR. With large diameter rear lens elements closer to the image sensor, the optics at the front of lenses can be smaller in size without loss of image quality. Light rays, especially at the outer edges of the image, can travel a smoother path through the lens with less bending or refracting. Optical designers have more freedom to engineer lenses with outstanding maximum apertures, like the RF 28-70mm f2L USM, while maintaining superb image quality. Or deliver lenses with smaller front optical designs and reduced overall size, like the RF 35mm f1.8 IS STM. Wide-angle lenses in particular can be designed to deliver superior performance with smaller designs than would be possible with SLR construction. This in turn can directly result in shorter lens designs with equivalent image quality and reduced lens size and weight toward the front section of the lens. And most importantly, it opens the door for superior optical quality across the entire full-frame sensor area out to the corners. With large diameter rear elements, light at the edges doesn't need to be bent or refracted as strongly as it leaves the lens, enhancing final digital image quality. As we said a moment ago, some lens designs can be shorter overall. This is especially important with wide-angle lens designs and gives our engineers tremendous freedom to develop future lenses with outstanding sharpness and quality. Again, optics are the cornerstone of the new EOS R system. The first 4 lenses are just the tip of the iceberg. Finally, with the new EOS R system, we enter a new realm of data communication between body and lens as well. There are now 12 electronic contacts on the rear of RF lenses, up from 8 on EF and EFS lenses. And electronic data itself travels much faster than with the previous mount system. This means that current technologies like autofocus and image stabilization can be enhanced and offer better speed and precision. And it opens the door for new features like fine exposure control with the new control ring on RF lenses, 1/8 stop aperture control during video shooting, moving the distance scale from the lens to the viewfinder, storing sophisticated digital lens optimizer data in each RF lens, and more possibilities in the future. As important as these new developments are for the EOS R system today, we realize that for many prospective users, their investment in Canon EF and EFS lenses has been a backbone of their involvement in photography. The EOS R system is an addition to the Canon line, not a replacement. In our next video, we'll discuss the outstanding compatibility the the EOS R system provides, allowing you to use today's lenses on tomorrow's camera.
I had the honor of being invited to photograph using Canon's new mirrorless camera, the Canon EOS R, the first in a brand new camera system. And I really put the EOS R through a comprehensive test by shooting a series of creative fashion images in really difficult shooting conditions. I was thrilled to see how the system's new features made my job easier, and it allowed me to create striking, storytelling imagery without having to worry if the gear could keep up. Now, I purposely planned 2 shoots in environments and sets I'd never worked in before because I wanted to see how this new camera would allow me to adapt to new situations. My first shoot took place on the edge of a New York City rooftop at sunset, so the light was drastically changing, but also we had some pretty dramatic weather. As I began my first shoot, I was instantly impressed with the new lenses made specifically for this system. They're some of the sharpest lenses I've ever used, and they also have this brand new design feature that I love, a programmable ring. This allows me to assign aperture, ISO, shutter speed, or even exposure compensation to the ring for fast access to those settings that could quickly adapt to changes in my environment or changes in exposure without having to dive into the menus to change settings. So everything was really customizable and really practical. While this new line of lenses is awesome, it's really great to know that I can still use my pre-existing EF Canon lenses. The new mount adapters have some really smart features. When I use my EF lenses with one of the mount adapters, I can actually add the functionality of that brand new programmable ring. After the epic rooftop shoot, in the middle of the night, we headed to a park and we were going to shoot with some colorful LED light bars. Another thing that impressed me about this camera was how quickly it focused. It's instant. So whether my subject's moving around a lot or I'm shooting in complete darkness, I had no problem getting tack-sharp focus in every shot. It was a relief to know that my gear wasn't going to hold me back from executing my vision, but instead it would really help me to execute this vision. It's so exciting to see that Canon has evolved to create an entirely new system that helps make my job easier and helps me work in challenging conditions. The Canon EOS R mirrorless camera has introduced fantastic new features that will revolutionize the way that many photographers create and capture their artwork.